It's like 7 o'clock and I still haven't slept yet. Welcome back to Let's Play Shin Megami Tensei 1. I'm fine. I think. I don't know. Anyways, we're gonna go back to the mall, because, if you recall, there was a suspicious scene with a lot of thugs. So this kid was getting beaten up, like, before we even got arrested. So... yeah, he's been just being beaten for what I'm assuming is a while, because, like, I have a feeling we spent a decent portion of our day in that police station fighting our way out, so, yeah. So sure enough, we get our third party member right now. Not too long after we get our second, so... the gang is pretty much all together. So I like how he restrains himself to say but then he says shit and damn right after. Alright. So now we have basically, half of a party at all times. So here's his stats. Unfortunately, he starts at level 1, so does Yuji, but it's more noticeable with Takeshi, because, Kazuya and Yuji already went through a dungeon, so I grinded him up just a little bit, and I just showed off his stats again just to compare. Don't believe everything you hear from the police, Mr. Rogers. So we're gonna go back home and introduce our mother to our new friends, because why not? Something seems off. Something is strange here. This background music is a little fishy. It doesn't smell right. Welp. So that's no good. Here's our next boss. We're basically gonna do exactly what we did with Orius, or Oris, whatever the fuck his name was. But now we have Takeshi. So he's gonna help out. Takeshi comes with a really good gun that can actually take out mobs of enemies, but you can't really notice that with this fight because it's only one dude, but it's very useful. So I guess while the fight is happening, The main character's mother dying to a demon that kind of, like, impersonates her is a thing actually taken right out of the second Megami Tensei book that they decided to keep in here for whatever reason as, like, a plot device. Actually, I can't quite remember if the demon actually impersonates her in the book. A demon does kill the main character's mother, though, and it's like a tragic thing that happens. Main characters' mothers often die in great tragic works. I mean, look at Star Wars Episode 2. Nah, never mind. Chrono's mom never died. Actually, not. RPGs where the main character's mom died, I actually can't think of. Well, Mother 3. I think that's the obvious one. Mother 3 is the king of dead moms in JRPGs, but... Anyways, we beat the boss while I was rambling. Can you guys tell I'm tired? Fuck my life. Jesus Christ, we gained a shit ton of levels with Takeshi there. I think that's the most levels I've gained at once in this game. Every time in a game you get a ID card, I always like to think it's just the McLovin ID from Superbad. God, I remember the first time I saw that movie, actually, I don't remember how old, I was in high school, and like, it was actually at a party where people were being dumb, and like, drinking and whatnot, and I remember because like, it was starting to get a little too much, so I decided to leave before things got like, super crazy, so, and if I recall, actually, a lot, like, I think that party actually got busted by the cops later on because people were being fucking idiots. So for the longest time, I never saw the last 20 minutes of Superbad because, like, I left that party early. And also, like, because every time it was on TV, I never sat and watched the full thing. So this is the second dungeon of the game. It's blocked off until you use the ID card, which we picked up from that last boss, of course, so... This is the final area of this section of the overworld map. Now, you can go back here later, so don't be afraid. You'll still have your, you can go back to your house and do the free healing thing and all that, so... Got a gremlin. Now, if I recall, you can actually recruit these things, but they're, like... I think they're pretty hard to get to actually want to even speak with you, so... Kobolds are pretty easy to recruit. They're a lower level demon. And there we go. Got ourselves a kobold. Kobolds seem like the Goombas of mythology. Like, they seem pretty useless in every, like, fantasy thing they appear in. I don't know. I like this demon design a lot, actually. Fucked up Birdman. Try talking to this thing still. And we just made her run away instead. Fuck. Now, goblins. Goblins are very useful demon. You're actually really gonna want to get one of these. Goblin wants a lot. And there we go. Now that does that. So, goblins are very, very useful because they have a lot of, like, at least a couple of buffing abilities pretty early on, given how far we are into the game. So they're pretty useful for a low-level demon, actually. Picking one up is a highly recommended idea, in my opinion. So we're on floor 2 of 5. You actually could just straight up go right to the 5th floor if you really wanted to. But just for the sake of getting all the items and stuff, I'm going through the whole dungeon. You probably should too. It's good just for the experience, and also you can maybe pick up some demons along the way, which is always nice. Now that amethyst that we just excuse me, just picked up from a treasure chest there, there's various types of like jewels and stuff that you can pick up, and they do not have a use for now, but you should hold on to them because they're going to be useful later on. You'll see. I like how some of these treasure boxes are literally just cardboard boxes. Always fun. And leveled up again. A lot of random encounters on this floor. Yeah, this little floor in particular is worth exploring just for the various incenses. I don't remember if I use the intelligence incense. Yeah, I don't use that yet. At least I don't think I do. I might have later on and just cut it out, and yeah. You don't need to particularly be stingy with it, but I usually am because I don't know, when I play RPGs I tend to min-max pretty hard. That's how I get enjoyment out of the gameplay a lot of the times. Like, playing through Final Fantasy 1 again, just for the sake of it, and like, man, on most versions of Final Fantasy 1, I can never justify having a red mage in my party because I know towards the end of the game they're just going to be pretty bad. Anyways, we're going to make a detour to a very special place. So, there's this weird-ass red building in the middle of the park for some reason. It has a mansion in it, and you might be wondering what that is, and we're going to find out soon, but first we're going to explore the rest of this red building. What the hell is this? Like, is this like a public bathroom, like rest stop area that just so happens to have a mansion and a healer inside? So this is the other way to heal and actually revive too, and also cure status effects in the game. Instead of just resting in your room, you can actually pay this guy to do all that stuff, and later on that's going to be important because we might not be able to always just sleep off our injuries for free in our room. That's going to go away eventually, sadly, and we'll have to just pay for every time we want to be healed. Alright, so this is where the meat of the gameplay comes in. This is the place where you can fuse demons. Now, usually you can fuse 2 demons to create a higher level demon, or, well, just, I shouldn't even say that. You can fuse 2 demons to create a different demon. Usually, you do this to get better demons than what you already have. So what's special about Pascal, if you bring him along, is you can fuse him into a Cerberus that normally you can't have because it's a higher level than the main character. But Pascal is special, so we can fuse him right into a Cerberus, and we don't need to worry about the demon's level. We can just fuse him right away without worrying about the limitation. Only fusion in the game that's like this, if I recall. So normally, if a demon fusion result is too high of a level, as in higher than your main characters, you just cannot perform the fusion, but not with Cerberus. So we now have a level 43 demon in our party, which is fun. So yeah, that's one of the big elements of Megami Tensei gameplay, is not only just recruiting the demons, but also as they start to become less and less useful, because as I said in the last video, demons do not level up with you in this game. You fuse them off to create stronger demons. Depending on the 2 you fuse together, it might actually result in a weaker demon, but that's only if their races do not mix very well. Every demon has a little race attached to them. That's where, like, it'll say, like, Fallen before their name, or Fairy, or something, if you've noticed that. It has, like, a little clan or race name. That denotes, of course, their race, and different races mixing together will result in a different result. I think there are fusion charts and whatnot lying around for what races mixing will result in which, that I could probably post in the description below. Speaking of posting in the description, well, there's Yuriko, but more importantly, people have been asking about the patch I'm using for the map mod. I'm gonna put that in the description too, just because a lot of people messaged me and whatnot about that, so. It's time to face this fucker again, but this time we have a dog, and we're more powerful. So this boss is, like, kind of really hyped up, but he's kind of a joke because you have Cerberus. So, yeah. You'll see. Alright. Cerberus also has Samurai Karm, which fully revives a party member, if I recall. And as you can see, Cerberus deals a shit ton of damage compared to everyone else in our party. He's still strong enough to one-shot weaker demons, as you can see, though. So do be careful to some extent. If you're not paying attention for this fight, he can actually fuck you up more than you'd probably like. Just keep buffing. Maybe... actually, I don't think you have any debuffs at this point in the game or anything. So yeah, just keep buffing. You'll do fine. Like I said, goblins are very useful. Accidentally selected a wrong command, so I did back out and it deleted all of my actions, which is unfortunate. And that's that boss. Not too bad. Now we can go back into that room. And this is the first terminal area in the game. There are lots of these. And Cerberus is being hit by lightning. No good. Alright. So, these terminal areas are basically warp points between various parts of the world map, and also act as save points. Also, here are some demons I picked up. Got an Azumi, and also an Earthies, which is an elemental. Elementals are kind of different from other demon races, but I'll probably get into that more so later. Anyways, so here is another different thing you can do in the game. So like I said, I'm going to be comprehensive with all the different choices and stuff you can do, blah blah blah. This is pretty minor, but you actually do not need to fuse Pascal into Cerberus to beat this boss at all. If you just have a good enough party and you are paying attention, you can actually beat this boss no problem. This is actually what I'm going to... This is the save file, or the version of events that I'm going to go forward with, because that way I do not waste a demon, because you fuse Pascal with another demon to create Cerberus, so you essentially lose that demon once Cerberus teleports away in that cutscene. So, might as well just do this instead and keep that extra demon around, because no point in wasting resources like that. So, you basically need it. To do this without Cerberus, you basically need someone with Terukaja just to buff up people. Or at least some form of buffing, like even just, you could probably, just make it so that, your magical attacks do enough too and all that, so. Yeah, like, actually, I think in this fight, if I recall, I use a healthy mix of Makakaja and Terukaja for both my physical and magical attack purposes, and that works pretty well for me. Any demon with electrical attacks, well, specifically, I guess, the only electrical attacks in this game are Zio and Zionga. But, well, Bufu and, Bufula, too, are, also special spells. But, basically, Zio and Bufu are, electric and ice spells, specifically, and they are different from other spells in that they can either paralyze or freeze an opponent, which makes them skip a turn. Now, that's kind of just like a neat little side effect in other SMT games, but in this one, it's really overpowered, because almost every single time you hit someone, or for that matter, when someone hits you with one of those two spells, they're basically going to lose a turn. They will almost always be frozen or paralyzed. It's really broken. You can basically make it so that some bosses will never get a turn off on you. And, yeah, it's a lot of fun. So, use Zio or Bufu whenever you can. It'll stun lock bosses, and it'll guarantee victory pretty much. It pretty much breaks the game. This is only the surface of game-breaking stupid shit in this game's combat system, but as I've been saying a lot, we'll get to more of that when the time comes. But it only gets more stupid from here. As you can see, that buffed Zahn does a shit ton of damage. And we beat him again. So, yep, totally doable without Cerberus. If you think you're good, try it out. That said, if you do fuse Cerberus and do it that way too, it's no real big deal. This doesn't really affect anything. I don't think it affects anything else in the game past this cutscene. So you're fine doing whatever way you want, honestly. But if you want to save a demon for now, you can just not fuse Pascal off. And so we get a cute little cutscene here. Instead of Cerberus lunging at the machine, Pascal just decides to take a chomp out of it. Quite a bit less intimidating than Cerberus, but what can you do? So now that our mother's dead, and our dog is dead, we're gonna just hang out, I guess. Well, we're gonna go into this teleporter, but we're gonna have to do that next episode. See you around, guys.